Good morning, folks, and here's an interesting little tweet from RPG maker Evil Hat Productions, who are using the Lovecraftian mythos in their games. I believe they're the creators, or at least they use the license for the rule set, so they're making a new flavor of whatever RPG game they make. So this is an interesting post. Again, we have politics interfering in the world of media. I don't know why this is a thing, but this is what we have to deal with every day. So here's his post. While developing Fate of Cthulhu, we are obligated to reflect on the problematic roots of the source material. Now, there are various problematic roots of all kinds of lore of every writer, from Tolkien to Lovecraft to Agatha Christie to you name it. It's never going to be perfect, so that's fine. We tackle that on page 6. The mythos is definitely worth exploring. It's also worth re-examining. So, yeah, great. You have to look at the stuff. You got to look at the lore. You got to say we address the problems. We try to do the best we can. And they have a link. The link is just pretty much a page to their book. You can play their role playing game, and there's really not much here talking about that. So this is a link in the book where they talk about content and consent. So, okay, interesting. I don't know what you need consent for a book you bought in a game you want to play from that book, but okay, sure. Fate of Cthulhu is a game that deals with many hard topics, including mental health, systemic abuses of power, and the deaths of huge portions of the human species. Okay, cool. No problem. We're talking about fantasy and horror. So if you know Lovecraft and you want to play a Lovecraftian game, you're probably already set. You probably know what to expect. You want to get scared. You want to have a fantastic good adventure, whatever kind of story you're going to tell with this rule set in your RPG. Make sure all the players are aware of these things and give enthusiastic consent before they begin playing. You don't have to do this. I've never met a DM or a person who has to give consent for people to play a game. This is pretty much obvious. Yeah, they'll set some rules, but they won't ask for consent for whether you're comfortable with the content. That is stupid. That's like going to a steakhouse and saying, "Are you okay with eating meat?" It's like, no kidding. Also, H.P. Lovecraft was a racist and an anti-Semite in big, bold font. There, we said it. And you know what? I don't care. This has nothing to do with the product you're selling or the game you want people to play. We do not care how much of a ponce Alan Moore is, or how politically minded left Stephen King is, or whomever made anything. We don't care about their political affiliations, how they were as people, what their family life was like, how nice they were to their neighbor's dog. We don't care. We really don't care. We care about the product in the public sphere. We're consuming it. We care about it. Is this a good product or not? Is it fun? Is it entertaining? Does it teach us something? Does it reveal something about ourselves, etc., etc.? No one cares that 100 years ago, H.P. Lovecraft was racist or whatever. Many people back then were like that. That's the sign of the times. That's the people were growing up in the 10s and the 20s and the 30s and going, oh yeah, we should probably respect the rest of us, like women and children, etc. Yeah, we should. We should have. Irrelevant to the content and consent. This is the problem already. The title should have given it away. If you need to provide consent to your game players of a game, this is stupid. You're probably not very good at DMing or whatever you're trying to do here with these people. We could give a litany of examples, but they're easy to find with a simple internet search. I don't care because I don't care about Lovecraft's political understandings or appreciations of the human being. I don't care. Look up the name of his cat, for instance. Go ahead, we'll wait. No, sir, I won't do that. Now that we've gotten that issue out in the open, let us turn our attention to why we still find the Cthulhu mythos, of which we planted the seed, a fruitful garden in which to find stories. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so these people knowingly made money off of this man and his work. I guess you don't need the license because it's been over 100. Well, yeah, I'd say it's almost 100 years. I think it's like 50 or 75 for you're allowed to use, like, let's use Mozart's work. We could do our own production of his of his music. So these guys are making money off his mythos for whatever reason, and they want to bring up he's a racist and anti-Semite. Okay, that doesn't change the fact whether I like or dislike your product, but it will make me question whether I want to even care about your opinion because you're throwing this crap in our face. Lovecraft once said, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." That's fine. He filled that void with knowledge, with his imagination creating the old ones and forbidden knowledge, strange religions and fantastical superstitions, threats to society and suspicion of what science might unlock. We can acknowledge that the fear behind his imagination while also re-examining what came out of it. Cool. Yeah, that's all true. I don't see what it has to do with content, though. You know that Lovecraft is probably the biggest name of horror stories next to Stephen King, currently living writers. Edgar Allan Poe, I guess, if you like those sorts of stuff. But Lovecraft is really the big one. In recent years, many writers, including writers of color, again, gee, I wonder what political affiliation these people are in. And what does it matter what their race is? I don't know. Have flipped the perspective on some of Lovecraft's most famous stories and made brilliant new works. Excellent examples are The Ballad of Black Tom, Victor Laval, I don't know that one, The Dream Quest of Levitt Bow by Kiz Johnson. I actually do know that one because that was based off a book which someone recommended to me, similar to Stardust, which is Neil Gaiman stuff. And that book, The Dream Quest of Levitt Bow, was based off a book by Lovecraft called The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. So that's one of the better series of his books. There's all kinds of books. There's all kinds of novellas and pulpy style stories from Lovecraft, but that was probably the big one. The other one I think is Dagon. I'm trying to remember, which I liked. Hammers, I don't know these other guys. I'm sure they are feminine writers or racially, people of color who have a feminist perspective, blah, 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 right? Of course they are. I don't even have to, like Caitlin, all these female names, fine. It doesn't matter who people wrote these things, but you know that it matters to these people. It matters to the creator of this book to quote people of color who are women, who are probably LGBTQ LMNOP as well, because of course they are. We hope you use them for inspiration just as much as you use Lovecraft's original works. You know what? I completely agree. You should read books. You should be inspired by books, of course. It doesn't matter who writes them, though. And really, if you don't know Lovecraft, I don't recommend it because horror is not really my favorite thing. It's an acquired taste, like scotch. Not everyone likes it, but they still like wine or some other liqueur. So everyone has their own tastes. Lovecraft, definitely read Lovecraft. I would recommend, I think it's Dagoth, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, and of course, if you don't know anything about Lovecraft, check out Call of Cthulhu. That's his number one. That will tell you right away whether you're going to like anything else by Lovecraft. So here we have a very strange post by a game maker. I'm probably never going to buy any of their products just because I'm not an RPG book kind of guy. It's just not my thing. But the fact that they are espousing this political mindset that, you should read books by women and minorities and you have to have consent for playing a game you've already itched in playing is just, these people. Anyway, read some books, guys. Horror is cool. Check it out, Lovecraft. I'll put some links in the description. Have yourself a great day.